stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, Wanderers. Welcome. I am AJ Rasmussen, and this is Soul Wanderings, a show where we receive an opportunity to hear journey stories from humans from all walks of life and all types of experiences. And these humans show up to share authentic pieces of themselves with all of us. I am so happy to be here tonight. We are live on video over on KGRA Facebook page and YouTube pages. So if you want to join us by video, head on over to there at KGRA. And you can also join in the conversation in those places as well as kgradb.com. There's a chat room that you can log into. So if you have questions, either of those platforms, they will get to us and we'll be able to ask those questions as time allows. I'm really excited. I said that. We have one of my favorite people in the whole entire world on tonight. You asked and you shall receive. One of your favorite guests as well as one of my favorite guests is back, and I'm telling you, it's been way too long. So thanks for the request and the desire to share. We are now welcoming back to the show Natalie Peace. Some of you lovingly refer to her as the Numbers Lady from past shows where she's talked about numerology. And we know her around here in our community because she works in my space, Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit, as well as in our community and throughout. Like, she gets around people in the most beautiful, positive way. She's known as the Human Wilderness Guide, which is exactly who and what she is. She's also a life coach, a grief coach, and a facilitator who brings awareness into our experiences. She's committed to showing the real side of grief into all of your experiences. And she's really passionate about what she does. And you'll know. And this evening, we're having a conversation about mindset and how it matters. We'll also be touching a little bit on one of my favorite topics, unconditional love. Hi, Natalie. Welcome back to Soul Wanderings.
Hey, AJ. This is fascinating because this is the first time, on camera, in my own space. It's okay, branching out.
Yes, you are branching out. I love that it worked out this way. Bending and flexibility. We talked about that earlier, how things just work out for the most beautiful reasons. And I'm just happy that we're able to hang out together, even if we're not in the studio together. I still get to see you in a couple of days at Vibes. And for those of you, future reference, I'll bring it up again, vibesnow.com. That's where you can see all of our classes. Natalie Peace teaches often in our space. And you just have so much to share. And this year you have a specific topic in your classes, which we're going to get to as well here tonight on the show. Mindset matters. But before we do that, you have not been on the show since November of 2019.
What?
I know. Wow. It has been that long where you were a regular guest, quite a bit, quite a few times a year. Last year was just awesome. And we didn't see each other as often as we would have preferred. But
it really shows, though, when you have a connection with someone, how if you go periods of time that it still can be supportive relationship and where we can still feel each other and support each other, even if we're maybe not seeing each other as often. Yeah. That's what I know.
That is so cool. And we just pick up where we left off. It's a beautiful thing. So where you haven't been teaching all the last year, and I'm sure we can talk about some of those experiences where we have plenty of time to do so, but you came up with this beautiful layout to assist people in this year with everything that's going on, our life experiences in general, whatever that looks like. Mindset matters. But we'll get to that. But before we do, just share with our audience, for those who haven't heard of you or haven't been listening to the show as long as we've been around, so that they have a good idea of who you are and what you're all about.
Oh, who I am and what I'm all about. Humans. That's a lot. That's quite it's not really a complicated question.
It kind of is, though.
But it is kind of, because I find that I do have lots of avenues that I engage in my local community and with people. So I do have a coaching practice. Mm-hmm. I do have I say grief is my gig. So I do have a specialty in grief. I have been working as a grief group facilitator for 10 years now. Cut my teeth in suicide loss, so that's pretty significant. To be able to be in a group of people that have lost someone to suicide, the dialogue that we have, the profoundness about encountering that difficult level of humanity and our relationships, and when they're strained and when you lose someone that way, and all the things that you have to go through and figure out and work through. There's that. And then I do regular grief groups. And grief, I have come to really discover in my own experience. I have had my own loss, and that's where I really began to understand how powerful of an experience grief is, profound emotional experience you have after loss, and then the gifts that it can bring you when you can actually lean in and you do what I call the swamp work. When you're slugging through the swamp of those emotions and you learn to embrace it and you learn to sit with your emotions as they're happening and actually hear the messages that come through during those times, or you're building your emotional strength, because there's nothing like having been crashed by waves of emotion to let you know where you can grow, kind of thing. So I do a lot of work with that. I have private clients with grief, and I also have private clients with life coaching. One of the things I love to work with with my clients is their, what I would call their blueprint. So it's like framework, and I use lots of different frameworks, anywhere from Myers-Briggs personality typing to astrology, numerology, human design system, gene keys, lots of different systems where I'm helping people understand the things that are natural are not the things we necessarily want to fight against. We want to actually figure out how to be in our natural form and leverage that to the greatest extent that we can. Because that's when you're truly able to be yourself. We're formed for a reason. There's a reason why we have those systems to help us be that. And you pick up a good self-help book, and then it may seem like, I got to be different than I am. And that's not always the case.
No, it's not always the case.
No. There's that I do. And I love teaching. I've missed it. But it was kind of nice to have a little break for a minute.
I'm sure, but you have been missed. As you know, I keep telling you.
I'm so excited to be back.
I'm so happy you're back. I'm so happy you're back.
It's like, well, everything else will just flow because I've got to teach now. So you're just going to have to come to my classes. I mean, people come to my classes or get there. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful work to be able to have dialogue with other people about human concepts. I like to also consider myself a practical application of higher consciousness things, as well as just like psychology or just regular, just what this human form. It's quite a mystery.
Yes.
So applying it, and we can have these things in our head, but actually applying it is where we really figure it out.
Yeah, where the work is done. The magic is created.
That's where the magic happens.
Well, I have said like 4 times already, I'm excited that you're here.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited you're back at Vibes after your break, your much well-deserved break.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you back on the show. Just having your energy back around in my regular life now, it's just really great. I was talking to my friend about you and how they brought you up. Like, I heard Natalie's going to be on your show. I said, yes, I'm so excited she's going to be on the show. And they just went on and on about how wonderful you are, that they only met you 1 or 2 times, but how amazing you are. And I was having this conversation with her and thought, you know, of everyone who has ever crossed your path that I have met, everything that's been said to me about you is just incredible. You have touched so many people's lives by the work that you do. Everyone has positivity to say about you. I've never heard one bad thing said about you, even negative in any way. Like, everyone is like, oh my gosh, I love that woman. She has changed me in this way. She has helped me in this way. She was there for me when I went through this. Like, the list goes on and on. That is profound. Amazing and beautiful. You are so loved. And it's because you're doing work that you love.
Yeah, that's actually cool. If you can,
isn't it really cool?
I'm so blessed to be able to have somewhere along the line really dedicated myself to me, what I bring to the world naturally. And I have to say, if you can figure that out, anyone that's listening, if you can go that way, it's what they say is true. That if you can figure out what you love and be able to do what you love, then the money will follow. You'll be able to. There's nothing.
Make a
like
living
it.
Doing what you love.
Yes, do it.
Yeah. It's more than that to you, though. More than making a living. I've seen you work and I've seen you in action, and it is way more than that. Definitely. But you have some background in a different type of life than you have now.
Yes.
So you went from one type of living to another type of living. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing and how you came to the knowing of what you were meant to do.
So I did, I was working for the federal government. So I had a 26-year career working for the federal government. And in that career, I started this little stint I did at IRS. And then I spent quite a bit of years in human resources. And then from there, so I did human resources. And the last job that I had was a wingman advocate job. It's called wingman advocate. And it was like street social work in a way. That my whole job was to connect with everyone within my organization, all the way from the floor, the people that worked on the floor, the technicians, to the leadership, to the senior leaders. And during that time, I learned conversation, how to engage in conversation. And and I did that for 5 years, and I began to call myself a conversation specialist. Because there is something about conversation, the ability to just connect with the person, not to try to solve anything, not to just to connect with them. And that is often what other people that are having struggles. Now, the part of that job was to engage with people that may be having struggles and get them into resources or clarify situations that were difficult. If the employee was having difficult time getting to work or deaths in the families, things like that, get them into resources. But I did find that I just wanted to connect with people, and I found that I was really good at it. And that's also, during that job, I went to the College of Executive Coaching, and I discovered coaching, that I just fell in love with coaching. And I also started facilitating grief groups then. And I also did a meditation retreat during that time. So I did a 10-day Vipassana retreat, which was silent. And that, I'm still discovering how that changed me during that time. It was incredible to go deep inside. For 10 days, you don't talk. You're around people, but you're being instructed on meditation techniques, Buddhist philosophy, and then learning the inside world. So it was a deep dive into the inside, this inner space that, frankly, I didn't know like I knew after that 10 days was my inner space. That there's like this whole world universe inside of us. And you say that, but it's not, that's words do not even begin to describe what it is when you break through that understanding.
I don't know anyone who can easily stay silent for 10 days.
Well,
I don't love talking a lot.
I talked to a squirrel.
But geez. Yes, I remember that conversation. I people think I may talk a lot because I have a talk show, right? I talk like we talk, but that's not really my thing. I'm actually pretty quiet. Definitely an observer. However, I would still struggle. 10 days is a long time.
It was really profound to give myself over to that experience. There was no outside communication. We only had the instruction and the silence. And so imagine a bunch of women in the bathroom getting ready. Nobody's talking.
Yeah, that would be bizarre.
It was really fascinating. And so they also instructed us to not look each other in the eyes, kind of keep downcast to honor the silence that people were in. They say it's the closest thing to being a monk. Is that kind of, because you were fed, you didn't have to worry about your meals, you just showed up for your meals. And it was really noisy in my head, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what were the conversations like inside of yourself?
Oh my goodness. So I thought, in Buddhist philosophy, you're working to get into the state of equanimity. So this balanced state where you don't want to be having your cravings or your aversions. And so I thought that I was pretty non-judgmental before I went into this experience. But it was this interesting, because it was a big deal for me to give up any self coverage or anything like that. It was a big deal to remove myself, disconnect myself from the world, my world, and then go into this other place. So there was this lady that arrived late, and she was in our little cabin, and she had her little BlackBerry with her. And at night, she would turn it on. And I'd be all up in my head, judging, like, boy, and that's not the rules. That's against the rules. And I was laughing because I also discovered as I went through the week that the universe had been very generous with me to give me a person that would trigger me so that I could clean it up during that time. So in all the ways I could be triggered, it was so cold. And I had not really read the instructions, so I didn't pack everything I needed to, because it was up in the mountains and it was in these little cabins, but there wasn't heat, so I didn't have a proper sleeping bag, and that was another experience, to sleep and be cold and to endure physical sensations. There was a big education about just observing your physical sensations, and you would know that they come and they go, just like emotions. So I think because of that foundation, I really started to understand what it was like to just be with any sensation, whether it be emotional or physical or thoughts, and then being able to weather them. And they really knowing that everything's temporary, comes and it goes. And that was profound. And the being cold, I didn't sleep well, and I'd never really quite been that cold for 10 days. Or 9 days, 9 nights.
I value your perception on the way that you viewed your experiences, especially with your roomie. that it was an opportunity for you to look at something even deeper than the experience you were having in that moment, where a lot of people would have, without the proper knowledge and training, would have allowed that to trigger them and ruin their experience.
Oh, yeah. I think of it, if I had done that, wow, what I would have been robbed. So we have to get uncomfortable before we could really grow. There is no growth in your comfort zone. There just isn't. So expansion doesn't happen until you get out of your comfort zone into the uncomfortable, and you stay in uncomfortable until expansion really happens. So that's important.
It is important. But it's not a mindset that we are just naturally given, or we are and we forget, but it is a developed mindset. It's a developed pattern and behavior and habit, if you will.
That's right.
And not so easily to obtain.
Yeah. So it's, as you start exploring the concept of mindset, we can't change our mindset right away. We literally have to explore and even start to notice that we have particular mindsets. So our belief structure, the way that we typically respond to situations, all of that can be framed around our thoughts and our belief structures. Some of them given to us by our parents, by our family, by our schools, and some of them we've just kind of created ourselves. So starting to observe yourself and understanding what your triggers are, your buttons are, what makes you happy even, those are all mindset things. And so you have to start seeing the patterns of thought before you even have any ability to shift them. You have to really start to observe them. And sometimes with that simple observing and noticing and calling yourself out, do you begin to that may be enough to shift mindsets sometimes. Not an easy process.
Well, and it's the awareness that you're even doing anything that could be destructive for you either. Because you don't know until you know, right? So you could have a desire to want to do better and want to do these A, B, and C, but that desire has to come from somewhere.
Usually it's born out of the things that aren't working for us. So usually the desire is triggered by, I'm having, I have trouble at work with coworkers. Exactly. I'm having relationships that don't work out. Someone's feeding you back. So yes, that usually triggers the desire that says, whoa. And then you start to wonder, what in the world do I do with this?
What in the world? There are so many things that we do with this.
Right.
Right. That's a beautiful thing about life. We get to learn those lessons and have those experiences that bring us to other experiences.
That's right. And that's a framework we get to versus, holy crap, life is beating me up. I'm so picked on. I'm a victim.
Right. I lived that life for a very long time. It wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years, literally that early and recent, that I was telling myself, I'm positive, I'm doing all these things, I'm just positive. But I wasn't positive
on the inside,
as positive as I am now. The mindset was definitely the switch that needed to happen in order for me to realize that all of these experiences are happening for me, not to me. And I'm not a victim of anything unless I choose to be. That mindset is definitely something, which is why we're going to talk about all of this tonight. It's so good. So everyone stay close. After we get back from this break, we're going to dive in deeper to the mindset and how and why it matters in your experiences. We'll be right back.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you still at it?
Yeah, I need more speed.
This baby's fast.
My dad's fast. He's scary fast.
You really think you could beat him?
Yeah, because I drink more tea than he does.
Yeah, right.
You know, pal, it's the tea that makes you go. Oh. Hey, Dad.
You know, kiddo, you have to drink a lot more tea to be faster than me.
Drink the tea that makes you go. Life Change Tea. You may not need as much as Dad. You never know. GetTheTea.com. Log on to GetTheTea.com.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA Classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Mainstream media's most wanted. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back. We are hanging out with my dear friend, Natalie Peace. She's a life and grief coach, and she has a unique perspective and way to look at our human experiences. And I love every perspective and every way that you look at them. Because like you said earlier, you use all different types of ways, thought processes, in order to share and explain with someone what kind of experience they're going through in their language, if you will.
Yes.
And it's so good.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
So it just popped into my head. I was reading about listening. The other thing that I think that I bring to the table, it's a really good skill I have, is listening. And I was reading the other day, when you listen, real, true, quality listening is you listen with your whole body.
Mm.
So you really tuned in. Mm-hmm. So it was a profound experience that I had by, I say a powerful teacher of mine, a long life. Life teaches us. It's always,
yes.
This life is school. We have all kinds of teachers, but this teacher, it took a long time. She kept saying, it's not about you. She was talking, and then I was in this period of my life, I was a martyr. I ruined everything. Whenever she would get upset, then, it's all my fault, and that martyr scenario. Mm-hmm. And martyrs can really kind of make it about them. Take any situation where someone's upset, and suddenly I was taking it on and making it about me, mm-hmm. and not hanging out and listening to her mm-hmm. explain everything. So she kept saying, it's not about you. It's not about you. And the other thing she'd say is, if you respond right after I finish my last word, then you have not listened to me through the whole thing. You were already preparing your response before. And that was powerful over the time for me to remember. Mm-hmm. Listen. Don't. And so if you watch yourself, most of people are having something else going on in their head. Maybe they're thinking about their grocery list or what they're going to cook. Because frankly, sometimes people talk and they aren't really engaging. But if you're in a crucial conversation, then it's important to listen and stay in the conversation and pull yourself out. Take yourself out of the way and listen to what the person is really trying to express to you, even if it's painful. If you don't take it personal, then that changes the dynamic. So listening is quite the skill.
Yes, it is. I do my best in the present moment with someone, but then I have this going on where I'm supposed to talk right when you're done talking or be thinking of the next question. So the separation of the two, sometimes I'm like, okay, balance, because I'm like in questions in real life, right? We ask each other questions when we are in a conversation.
Oh, that's
you
right.
and I will sit and have these conversations, and it's like this, like we're hanging out, like wandering together. And so we're both just going back and forth. And so that's there. And it really is something that I've observed in myself by watching you.
Oh,
you listen, you lean in when someone is speaking. You really engage when you said full body. You physically can see that in your essence and your being when you're listening and present with someone. It's been a really great example, and you've been an awesome teacher for me that way, because I just cut someone off, We're all guilty of it.
We are.
I'm really good at it. And I don't mean anything by it. I just get really excited and I just want to keep talking about it, But
and more, tell me more.
It's like that. It's such an important thing that you brought up. Listening.
Look at my camera flipping off and on. It's so interesting having a camera. It's a whole different experience.
You're still there, though.
I'm still here. It's just going bright and dark.
I see that.
I think it's because I changed my light setting, so we'll just have to weather that until the next break.
It's all good. So what else when it comes to your mindset and your experiences?
Oh, such a deep topic. So it's quite something. So one of the things is our everyday mind. So the practicing of mindset happens in your everyday. It's every single day, whatever your little decisions, the little ways of approaching things, that all is what that regular everyday mind is what you take into any, whether it be a happy situation or a crisis situation. And so it's important to kind of work on that. If what you find that, let's say, if you notice that you happen to flip out or get turbulent or really have emotional outburst on a regular basis, then that's an indication that that you need to make some adjustments in how you're viewing things. And oftentimes it takes getting with a professional or someone that is qualified or has a skill set to help people work through those things. But don't be afraid to work with someone that can feed back. There are reasons why certain people are coaches or a therapist, or spiritual counselors or whatever. They just have the ability to see someone and help them shift what they're doing. So that's important to recognize. So if you're having situations that are not fulfilling for you, then it's important to say, well, maybe that's something I need to work on, and who could help me work with that? Or reading different books and practice. Practice. So that's important to do once you've kind of observed yourself. Observe what your thoughts are. So one of the ways to do that would be to listen to your thoughts. What are your regular running scripts? We all have regular running scripts. So it's important to listen to what those are. maybe even write them down and go to the extent to say, well, what would I say that to my best friend? Would I say the things that I say to myself to my best friend? So
there are some things that I would be embarrassed if anyone had ever heard what I had said in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we, especially when it comes to ourselves, we say a lot of bad things.
And so just think about this. If you are critical to yourself, then what happens is that you cut the energy from yourself. You pull the legs out from under yourself over and over and over again. That should be a collaboration with your inner self. And, sometimes we find there's 2 or 3 of us in there, which doesn't mean we have multiple personalities.
No.
It just means that we have the observer and the person that's doing the thinking and those types of things. And so it's a team. And if you don't have team cohesion and you're not rooting for yourself and you're not being your own cheerleader, I'm not talking about being Pollyanna, but there is no reason why you need to berate yourself. That type of stuff doesn't really help you engage better and things like that. So if you can be your cheerleader, learn more about yourself, learn things. The systems are helpful.
Plus, if you're thinking in the lines of manifestation or anything energetic, the things you say to yourself become belief systems in yourself. You believe that you're stupid or you're fat or whatever that looks like. You continuously speak negative. That affects you on an energetic level.
That is right. So that's part of the why I love that mindset matters, because it's the matters of the mindset, or that it really truly matters how you frame your mind. It really does. It will determine the quality of your outcome. If you study the law of attraction at all, or there's an old book that I love. It's a short read that's by James Allen that says, "As a man thinketh." And it's based on that. Your thoughts create your reality. And so when you clean up your thoughts, and your reality will change.
And it literally does.
It literally does. It's magic. And I've had people that I've worked with, or good friends of mine, that say, "But I'm telling you what I am experiencing." Okay, that's fine. So then they recite it and they feel like that's important to tell it as they've experienced it. But if you're looking for change, then it has to be rescripted so it can come out different. No. And I would say, well, people might be skeptical of that. Prove it wrong. Be brave enough to work it to see if that's actually true.
Yeah. And is it?
Well, I found it to be true.
It really is, though. You think about, even if you spent, like, you committed to one day of being in gratitude and living in gratitude, like you're thankful for everything from the moment you wake up till the end of your day when you're going to bed, and then compare that to a day where you're just your normal average self or whatever that looks like without standing in that place, and how different you feel emotionally, physically, mentally. It is incredible, the difference just by being in a place that's more positive than the negative.
That's right. So what are some challenges of that? Like
that's
difficult
right.
times in your life? So I find even with grief, so I work so much with grief, and it's one of the most profound emotional experience. So grief is the emotional experience you have after loss. And it just happens. If you love something or someone and you lose that, or it's no longer in your life, our bodies are hardwired to grieve. So then you're being wrecked by profound emotional waves. You cry a lot. You have a lot less energy. The sparkle's gone out of life. Even in that, there is the ability to shift the perspective or your relationship with your emotions and understand that it's, so here's one little shift for that to say, when those waves of emotion crash over you and you find yourself in a fetal position crying in bed, or the loneliness really sets in because your spouse has died, then you can, this is a simple shift, this is a mindset shift that says, as that washes over you, you say, this is love. This is what love looks like. And that, just that simple shift over time creates a different relationship with that. And you no longer, because most people have those waves of emotion and they want to push that away. They're like, and then literally what you're doing is you're pushing the love out. So, okay, love, go away, because grief is love. You would not be feeling those emotions if you did not love the pet, the person, the job loss. That can have the same thing. Relationships, divorce, those types of things. If you didn't love, then you wouldn't have that. So then when you can say, this is love, then you say, okay, then I would, that's where there's a saying that says, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. Because you have all of those things and all those experiences that you had with the person, the pet, different types of things. It's not easy. This stuff isn't easy, but I can tell you it's worth it.
In all of your experiences working with people, would you say that grief was the biggest experience for people to look at differently? Overcome sounds like the wrong kind of word, but change their perspective or change the way they view it, however that looks like. Or is there another type of experience that you feel like people come to you more for?
So I think just about everyone that I get, I can see the grief that they've experienced within their life. I can see the loss and the effect that it's had.
That's what I was curious about.
Noticing, and I'll hear if someone says, well, I've been depressed. And I say, okay, what happened before these depression episodes? And they will literally speak to me of losses that they've had. And I'd say, well, consider that you're not depressed, that you actually are grieving. And grieving creates a more active experience with your emotions and your thoughts. And so that's a profound shift, because there's a mindset that says I'm depressed. And if I'm depressed, then that doesn't, there's not, when people feel like they're struggling with depression, then they often will feel their only options would be pills or something like that. And that's not the same with grief. In fact, that line doesn't work as much. So we adjust our mindset. We figure out these new normals. We figure out how to overcome, weather the emotional storms, all sorts of things. There's so much. My mind is just going, what? What do I want to grab onto?
It was a big question.
Right.
I am notorious for asking questions that last 30 seconds or more.
It's good.
Well, I love how you brought that up, because where we are working together and we're seeing a lot of the same people, that is a common factor. Everyone that comes in is experiencing some kind of emotion that's causing them a certain way. And when you start asking the questions and digging deeper, it almost always revolves around a loss of some kind. There are very few that are like, I don't know what it is, I just feel this way. But generally it is over a loss of some kind. You're right.
So even if we consider loss, and then if we step away from grief for a minute, and we just consider as we go through life, it is, so if we take, for some things that we're working in the area that we're working, people are on an evolutionary path. And so as you evolve spiritually, or even as you age through this human life, there are losses, and the ability to let go and let the things that no longer serve us slip away, that can be a mindset around that. So people will often cling, or they will feel betrayed or slighted or like less than, because people will go out of their life. People come or go. They're in our lives for reasons, seasons, or lifetimes. And relationships, it's intended for relationships to be sometimes just short or brief, or a few years, or so that's even a mindset to shift with that, to say, are things going out of my life that actually will benefit me, that they aren't in my life? Am I willing to let go of the things that aren't serving me? And let in the things that will serve the future come in.
That's the digging deeper part. That's what I love doing. I love digging deep. That's why I ask all the questions.
Yeah.
Like, let's really get down to the root of the experience and figure out what's going on. Or tell me everything that you felt, seen, heard, all of it about your experience, like all the details.
That's right.
It's so good.
So good.
Is that part of what you love so much about what you do?
Oh, what do I want? Yes.
The digging deeper and
the digging deeper. One of the things I love about what I do, this is kind of a recent realization where I realized that, I love what I do. I used to want to save the world. So I set out when I left the base, and Spirit was telling me, or the universe, and I just had this, I felt like I was walking uphill to work. Best job I could have had out on base was that job. But I just knew I had to go, and I had the ability to go. And so I took the step forward to leave a secure job that made a lot of money to what could look like really uncertainty. Yeah. But it all has all worked out. Now I went too far, and now I have to bring my train of thought back. But so when I left, I really wanted to save the world. And I have actually found sometimes that the world just doesn't really want to be saved. Most of the time, the world is really fine, where it even looks like, if you could just tweak that thing or change that thought, or, shift just a few things like your relationship with money, that would make it better. But people aren't always, because change is really uncomfortable for most people. So people aren't necessarily. So I love working with people that are in it already to do their change. I don't work with anyone that's not ready. I don't want to pull people in and convince them they have something that needs to change. It's up to them. And because it's their life that they live. So I have discovered that I just love what I do, and I love the feeling it gives me. So I've just I was like, I actually like this because it just feels good to me. Yeah. And people say that they have that they enjoy what they've experienced. So that's good.
Those are the rumors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's really neat. It'd be really neat to be you. I get to help a lot of people, but you get to help a lot of people. Yes. And I just think just one person, I feel like I'm on cloud 9, and here you are assisting so many people, and it's no wonder you're always smiling and happy all of the time.
Well, there were some periods of time where it felt like a massive responsibility. Like,
I could see that.
With an awareness that when I'm engaging with people in significant times of their life, they're actually pretty vulnerable, that there's a lot of responsibility with that. So there was some consciousness in stepping into that level of responsibility of interacting with people. But then if we put that to side, then it was a realization of me stepping into all of myself. And there were a lot of things along the way. There was the Vipassana retreat. There was this program that I went through that I spent 4 years in that was a martial arts type program where I stepped into that because I needed to learn about energy. And dedicating myself to that, I didn't even know in the beginning how that would integrate into myself and how I would expand energetically. And sometimes there was a couple of times in that program I was like, oh my gosh, I'm that much power that I could feel coursing through me. I'm like, that's scary. I don't want it. I'll blow people up. All that, craziness. But in the end, I continued to work to step into myself. The only person I can be is me. And each person, if they can figure out they're born to be the person that they are. And sometimes it's simply a matter of understanding we're functioning in our shadow frequency more than our gifts. And so when we can leverage that, if there's ways to discover that, and there's lots of systems out there that can work with people on that, and that awareness of your thoughts, and whether or not, just simple, this script, if I write down, well, I'm such a piece of crap, I'm always disappointing me and others, and I'm never doing anything good. Okay, that statement has no positive vibration in it at all. And if you're saying that on a regular basis, you're producing your tomorrow to be that again. It's that kind of a thing. So you have to be brave enough to stop saying, I'm a piece of crap and I don't ever do any good, to I am learning and growing and discovering my gifts. That simple shift. And if you did that for a week, then you would feel different. It just happens.
And it becomes contagious.
It does come contagious.
It does.
But sometimes it can be a mystery for people that can't see past their script.
What are your ideas or thoughts on fear and how that type of mindset controls us or changes our experiences, especially when it comes in regards to this type of change of mindset? Because some people hold on to their story so hard because they're afraid of it looking or being any other way.
So some of that comes with an identity that says, who am I if I don't have my story? So there's part of that it's an identity thing, that they identify with their story. And there's not even a realization that memories can really be almost a lie. We think we're so certain that we remember something to have happened a particular way. And that isn't always the case. And then with fear, so I'm going to do fear and worry together, but for fear first. So fear, if you think about fear and you think the acronym false evidence appearing real. So it really seems like that, okay, so I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid that if I shift, I'm going to have people that will leave, or if I fully express myself in a relationship, my partner will leave me. And that may be true. Maybe that what's coming up is actually a resonance of what could be true. Then there's this discovery that authenticity is much better than holding yourself back. So that's part of the fear and worry. Most of the time we worry, people can be habitual worriers. We worry about things that don't even happen. And it's a habit more than a useful skill. So raising that awareness and noticing it, people claim, I'm a worrier, and it becomes part of their identity. And so then if I am a worrier, therefore I must worry, so there would be no reason to change it.
Right. And it happens.
It does happen that way.
It's just so powerful. The words that we use, and the words we use, the words we think, the words we feel, like everything, how it affects our entire state of being and all of the experiences that we're having when we can just flip a switch and have a different experience. It's pretty cool and it's pretty powerful. I'm going to talk some more about this with you when we get back. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good to me too. I'm excited. So excited tonight. Okay, everyone, stay close. When we get back, we go commercial free the second hour. We're going to hear more about Mindset Matters, and we're going to touch on unconditional love.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you still at it?
Yeah, I need more speed.
This baby's fast.
My dad's fast. He's scary fast.
You really think you could beat him?
Yeah, because I drink more tea than he does.
Yeah, right.
You know, pal, it's the tea that makes you go.
Oh.
Hey, Dad.
You know, kiddo, you have to drink a lot more tea to be faster than me.
Drink the tea that makes you go. Life Change Tea. You may not need as much as Dad. You never know. GetTheT.com. Log on to GetTheT.com.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Mainstream media's most wanted. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back. You are here on Soul Wanderings, and Soul Wanderings is heard on this amazing station, KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Hudson Valley, New York. And I invite you guys to visit KGRADB.com. This new and beautiful site is filled with a lot of goodness. There are opportunities to learn and to explore, plus there's exclusive content and the KGRA classics. So I encourage all of you guys to head on over to KGRADB.com. Tonight we are spending good quality time with my beautiful friend, Natalie Peace. She is a life and grief coach here in my community, and she teaches classes at Vibes, which is the store that I co-own and operate during the day. Well, 24 actually, but mostly during the day. And she also helps our community by offering grief groups, a local mortuary, as well as facilitating other types of coaching and suicide loss groups and things of that nature. So, Natalie, welcome back.
Why, thank you.
I haven't said excited in a long time.
Aw.
I keep saying it, and I recognize that I've said it a lot, but it's just been such a long time that you have been on the show, where you were more of a regular guest, and you've been missed, and I'm just really glad that you were able to spend some time with us this evening. So thank you again for being here. Tonight we are talking about mindset matters and how the thoughts and the mindset we have affect our experiences that we have. Some good stuff. I really enjoy the way that you lay it out for us in an observation I see you do with other people. You lay it out in such a way that's understandable. So it's not like we have to get complicated in this new practice or shifting our mindset. It really is what you say, practical application.
Yes.
It works. It works well. The way that you share, the way that you explain, the way that you teach others to apply these practices. It's really neat. I love your approach and your uniqueness in the way that you deliver.
Thank you. A gift that I have. Actually discovered that I've had it most of my life, the ability to articulate complicated subjects in kind of layman terms.
Mm-hmm.
And in researching some of, like, specifically my human design system. And if people want to know about that's not my system, it's someone else's system. It's available online, but that's part of my, what they call an incarnation cross in that system. And as I learned more about it, I was like, oh, that's what I do naturally. It actually articulated what I had already done, but so now that I had read it and was conscious of it, I said, okay, that's a gift that I have. And a lot of times, we all have we were born different for a reason. The whole world is populated by people that are different for a reason. It isn't about us being the same. It's about us embracing what it is that we have to bring to the table. And so you were saying this simple way, it is the basics. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was, okay, what you already have in your mind is a pattern of thinking already that's well established, almost rutted at sometimes. We have these well-worn ruts in our internal mind road. And so those are the patterns. We just go there by default. So you already have patterns. We already have mindset. So the ability to change them just will change the outcome if you're not happy with what your mindset is or how you do it. So I got another question.
Did you just draw a blank? I have lots of questions. I could ask questions all night.
Right. So it's interesting because you come on. One of the things that I've worked to do is just, if I'm fumbling around, I'm fumbling around. This is one of those things. I don't run a scripted life. In fact, I was just working with a client last night, and she said, so she just asked me about you flying by the seat of my pants. And I said, I just find I do better when I fly by the seat of the pants. Everything, this is how I work, and I know it's that I work best that way. I have onboarded a lot of philosophies. I regularly listen to different teachers and different gurus or sages, or read different books, and then it gets onboarded. So then I have the ability, I also practice my own re-scripting if I need to, my own mindset, my own habits, my own patterns of thinking. And then I can articulate it. It's kind of, I don't have to script it out because it's just in me to say. I was listening to this guru last night that was talking about when you come to something and just be willing to have an open mind, no set script, no set expectations, then you just get to experience what is.
Yeah.
And there's something profound. And that's what he said. And that's what an open mind means, is coming with no thought almost. This to not think too much. And we were talking about mindset, but then there's also this concept of having less thought than more thoughts in there.
Two different points of view.
Right. Yeah. There's lots
very
of points
opposite.
of view. Right.
I had a question, but I was so present listening to you that I lost it. It went away.
That's actually what happens in the present. We just use our thoughts.
It was just a really neat thing that you were saying, so I was like,
More?
Tell me more. The experience is to quiet your mind and enter the conversation or whatever that is without an expectation. Also leaves it for others not to have an experience. That's where my brain goes. So you take away one aspect of it, then you're not having the other aspect of it. So it's the same. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm all over the place. See, my brain, okay. I'm like, it's so deep to me. And I talk a lot with my hands. That's why I didn't want to be on camera because this is what I do. So I'm going to just put my hands back in my lap.
Well, see, that's a mindset that having your... So is it not good to wave our hands in front of the camera?
Well, we'll just keep it simple.
Right.
We're not playing charades tonight.
Right. So if I take what you're saying, if we come with just an openness, then someone else can just show up the way that they want to show up.
Yeah. Either way, I suppose you're still having everyone's still having an experience.
That's correct.
I was feeling that it would be a little different, but it would be the same but different.
Well, it could definitely shift the experience. If you come with an openness, then if someone is actually expecting you to behave a way that you normally expect, and you come to it differently, they may have some things triggered, or they may have some responses to that.
You're still giving them an experience.
That's correct.
It's not taken away necessarily.
No.
But I like that concept though, like entering in with a clear mind, with no expectation. Those expectations
are a recipe for disappointment.
They are a recipe for disappointment.
That is. So there's this fluidity. It's taking the path of least resistance, being like water. There are those types of phrases that sages have said over centuries. Be like water. What does that mean? Well, water always takes the path of least resistance. It can also, it can form into whatever it's in. Whatever container holds it, it takes the form of the shape of that container. So it's very fluid. And most people don't run around life that way, with that level of fluidity. So it's a challenge to be able to be fluid with time, with thoughts, with beliefs, with other people's behaviors, to be more fluid with expectations. So I was having a discussion with a group around the holidays. We were having a discussion, and one lady was saying, I just want my kids to be together in the same room. And she was finding that was very difficult to arrange. She had that desire, but she was forcing it to try to make it fit. And her kids were in different locations, and they had to try to fit with their kids and the schedules. And so I said, just offered up, why don't you just be more relaxed about it? If they can make it happen, let it happen. Just leave it more open-ended. And it actually did happen. Her adult children figured it out. But she released a lot of the expectation, which were a lot of the resistance to allowing it to happen as it could happen, instead of forming a framework and expectations that it show a different way. So a lot of times we'll have that. We will have these expectations. We will want people to show up and be a particular way. You know, if you could just be this way, you could be more romantic, or if you could be more talkative, or you could be, you know, a little less absent-minded, or, you know, usually we're dismissing the person for who they are, but those types of things. Coworkers that my coworker just would stop being such a this or that.
Are definitely in relationships.
Definitely relationships.
Yes. It does affect everything. It really does. The way that we view it, the way that we choose to experience it, and expectations. Whew. I think that's one that all of us are consistently working on. At least everyone in my world is really working on. I shouldn't say everyone. I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people I know of definitely have preconceived ideas of how said experience ought to be.
Right. And it's interesting when you talk with a group of people about expectations, there will be people that will be very justified in having an expectation, and they will say, but if I don't have an expectation, nothing's going to happen. No, that's actually not true. Or people will, so they're justified in their expectation, and it's a habit of theirs to have these expectations of people that they show up. And oftentimes we're like walking upstream with people. It's like, if you feel like you're walking upstream, if what you're doing in your life feels hard, most likely you're getting in your own way in some way.
Yeah.
And so how can you get out of your own way?
Yes.
Maybe you can't even understand that. So sometimes these concepts can be so foreign to what you were, the way that your parents were, the way that anyone around you behaved, that it can seem so foreign. And like, what do I even do? How do I even begin with those things? Or maybe it's sounding quite clear and you're going, there's that aha moment that says, oh, okay, shift a little, just relax, soften your shoulders. That could be a simple thing. If you're just all wound up and tight and tense, and our shoulders like come up around our ears, and you can soften your body in a way, you can breathe, just belly breathe, and that clears. That's one way of kind of getting out of your own way. Clearing your head, softening your shoulders, be willing to let someone else have an opinion. It's like, or a thought process, or a way that they do things. That's helpful too, to say, well, this other person may have just as much right to be able to bring something to the table.
Right. I don't think that we're meant to go at any of this alone. It's always good to hear others' perspectives and experiences. Something might really sparkle inside of us and change our whole entire future, you know, just by someone sharing what they have. We're all here to help each other after all.
Right. So consider this, that other person you're interacting with, whoever it is, whenever you're interacting with another human being, they have experiences that you couldn't possibly have had, because there's like 7+ billion people. They all have different experiences, different perspectives. And so they have seen things you haven't seen. What you have seen in your life is not all that there is. And so the willingness to hear and receive or be open to other people's perspectives, experiences, broadens what you can't go and experience those things, so it can broaden your perspective in some ways. Or you can just realize that's not what I'm interested in. And that's okay too. And it's okay to just realize that's good. That's someone else's experience.
Yeah.
But it's not very interesting to me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of it all. It really is beautiful.
The openness, the willingness to let life be what it is.
Be like water and flow.
Water. Slow down. Maybe just look at the clouds. Really simple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. What if there's nothing that we really have to do?
Right? Just be.
Just be. Yes.
I think that's the end result and lesson in all of this. We are so good as humans overcomplicating and making things way different than they need to be.
Right. So do you have something that you can think of that you adjusted a thought pattern that you had, or a mindset that you had, or a behavior that you had that shifted things up quite a bit?
If I'm being completely vulnerable, the first thing that comes to my mind is the way that I viewed myself before I loved myself. That I feel like, not just for women, it goes for both men and women.
Yes.
Definitely. But there are a majority of us who say we love ourselves, but don't treat us the way that love would look like. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
We speak it, but we don't be it. And I always thought, I love myself. I'm okay. I'm a good person. Like, it's all good. But
without that depth of going, no,
I was like,
really
yeah.
am.
I mean, but when I was alone with myself, I didn't love myself. That's for sure. I wasn't doing things that were good for me. I wasn't thinking things that were good for me. I wasn't making myself a priority. I wasn't nurturing my essence. I wasn't practicing my gifts. Whatever it looked like, I think that was the most challenging experience I personally had, of changing the thoughts in my head and allowing those thoughts to change my experiences completely. Like trusting them and really believing them and not just saying them anymore. Like not just looking in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm nice. You know how you always start out with affirmations when you're just really trying to work through it. But if you're not feeling it, if you're not giving it your all when you say it and in a way that the energy is believable, you'll still get the same belief systems. You'll still get the same results until you become what you're saying. You are what you're doing instead of doing something without any purpose or meaning behind it.
That's right. So we have to have that. It has to be backed by a willingness.
Yes.
That it could possibly, even in the biggest stretch of imagination, these affirmations that you're saying, you have to have that willingness but that it could be true.
Right.
You don't have to have this willingness that it is true right in the beginning. You do have to have a willingness that it could.
But not only that, and I bring up trauma because that's always been my biggest experience that has made me dislike myself so much in the past. Because when you go through things that I've gone through, you don't love yourself because of the way that you see yourself. You love yourself in the way that you think others love you because of how they've treated you.
Right.
And so it goes deeper than just the thoughts in your head. You really go deeper into what is true.
Yes.
And what you're telling yourself, is it true? And that is what changed the energy. It wasn't so much the affirmations or believing in what I said. It was healing those experiences in my past that caused me to believe this to begin with.
That's right. That's a lot of healing. And that's that part that deep work where, especially with trauma, and I'll use some words like the ability to integrate all the experiences that you've had over your life and somehow coming to an awareness that it was all for you, that those things are important to have happened for the growth to be able to, let's say, interact with something that you do in the future. My loss was the most profound thing. I thought it was the worst thing that could have possibly ever happened, was the loss that I experienced. And now I realize that if I had not experienced that loss, I would not be able to do the work that I do and connect the way that I connect with people. Because you cannot connect with a griever in the same way if you haven't had significant loss. Grievers just know. You just know when someone has experienced something, and they're not talking from the head, they're more talking from a space where things have happened. And then that would even happen with people that have had different traumas, to be able to connect with people that have had trauma and said, I have survived and I'm going to be okay. I may not always understand how I'm going to be okay, but I am going to be okay, and I can thrive in spite of some really bad things that people have said. That's quite a battle, though, or have said or done, whether it's physical trauma or mental trauma. That's a big mountain to climb over as an individual. And sometimes you can't do it without some sort of professional help or someone that's wise in their ways, or an excellent philosophy of sorts to say, okay, life matters. I don't always know why it matters, but living matters.
Exactly.
And this thing that we're doing here can not always be a dark experience, but it can have light. Because light, so what I love that the higher consciousness the higher consciousness that says you can only see the light if there's darkness.
Right.
You go into a dark room and you light a flame, then you see that flame. But if the flame is out in the bright sunlight, you don't see it the same in the darkness. So that contrast is so important to have in life. And that's part of that framing a mindset around that, saying, instead of being in such resistance, or it can take all kinds of scripts. There's just we could talk about this for days and days in the various ways. And it's so much fun if we have a bunch of people like feeding it. How about this or that or the other thing? And that's why I enjoy teaching classes so much, because you get a bunch of humans in the room and you talk about human stuff and the wisdom's in the room. And then you get to share each other's experience.
Yeah.
And feed off of that.
That's so good. I know you're high and buzzy when you come out of classes. I'm like, get over here and hug me. I want some of that.
That's right.
Share some of that goodness with me.
So it's interesting. I have a couple of notes on my desk, and one of them says conscious contagion. So this is an interesting thing to talk about while we're in the middle of a pandemic. Is things are contagious. That's energy, attitudes. They are contagious. And so are you being conscious of the things that you're spreading around in your workplace, in your life, in your family? Are you the one that's going around and sharing negative stories over and over again? Or are you the one that says, so think about that for a minute. There's contagion going on. When we're talking about human contagion, viruses are another matter, and that is not my expertise. So I'll keep it to my expertise, which is
let's not talk about it.
Energetic. Well, there's a lot of dynamics. I studied sociology, and I have a sociological mind. So it's a fascinating time to be alive and watch the way society shift. And that's one of my awarenesses that I've gotten over the last few weeks is like profound to watch our society change vocabulary, change stories, change heroes, change even our Disney movies got changed. It's like, what? And then to notice, wow. So it's just those kind of things can be shifted and just rewritten. Then you're like, maybe none of it really matters because it's been shifted a lot of times. It was an interesting perspective for me to think about, thinking, let's just not attach to a bunch of things because it's going to shift. But back to the contagion, I challenge people to be conscious of what you're spreading. If you're telling a story over and over again, or you're talking about someone, gossip is really such a negative thing. Although I did hear once or read a story that they had researched and said that gossip was beneficial because it brought people together, which I could see because you can share stories, but it can also be damaging as well for people. So the consciousness, which is being more mindful, which is understanding your thoughts and what's going on, it's important to have that conscious and be conscious of what's being spread around, including what you're spreading with yourself.
Mostly what you're spreading with yourself.
Mostly, because it does matter. We're all a force of one.
Yes.
That relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you have in your entire life. The one
absolutely. And that's a beautiful place to start sharing about unconditional love.
Oh, yes. Such a challenging topic, unconditional love.
Unconditional love. That is such a powerful mindset, a powerful experience. It's ineffable. Unconditional.
Yes, unconditional. So what do you think about this non-conditioned, loving kind of concept?
Non-conditioned?
Well, if we take unconditional, but we're going to say without conditions.
Right.
So we're going to break it down a little and say without conditions.
I have found in my relationships that I have realized how conditionally I have loved people. A lot of it is expectations.
Those would be conditions.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. A lot of them are expectations. And when I became aware of just how much so, I didn't like the way it felt. Energetically, it didn't feel good to my heart. It just didn't resonate with me at all, or who I want to be. And I committed to a practice of seeing people through a different lens, unconditionally. And I feel like my life has become more rich and more vibrant and more heart-centered in everything that I do by becoming unconditional, by looking at all of my relationships, that they are all perfect, whole, and complete just as they are. And it's a really, really neat experience to have.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like our friendship is so fantastic. Because I know we unconditionally love each other.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way.
From the moment we met.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Again.
So the challenging one, it's good when it's like you and I, and we just dig each other and love hanging out and connect. But what about those that get under your skin?
Lots of deep breaths. Honestly.
Like, more breaths.
I mean, there are always going to be people who trigger you in one way or another. It's a good time to sit back and observe and wonder why they're triggering you and dig deeper into that idea. However, that's my first answer is what I feel. I have to take a lot of deep breaths and remind myself, what does love look like? What does love feel like?
Right. So sometimes there is some of that, but then there's also, okay, well, how would I even be able to work on a button unless I had someone come along and ping it?
Exactly.
So I remember this quote from a Wayne Dyer book that said, "Don't hate the petty tyrants." Because someone has to be the person that triggers you if there's cleanup work that needs to be done. So you say, well, that's a whole different kind of unconditional love that said that I can love that person that annoys me the most.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be in a love space, that does not mean it's always like, ooh, ah. It can be that space where it can be that person that rubs us. It's like sandpaper. So if we want our edges smoothed out, someone needs to be the sandpaper. Someone needs to come along and be that abrasive part for us to even know that maybe we needed to relax deeper or appreciate life more.
I've even been the sandpaper for other people. I showed up for them that way.
I've
Go me
situations where you got, and you're just like, well, and then you can be more accepting of yourself because you can say, well, sometimes we're the sandpaper and sometimes we're the one being sanded.
Yes. I just have to add a little humor in all of this, you know.
Right.
You know me.
Yes.
Can't get too serious.
Yeah, well, let's not take life too serious because it's meant to be the game of life, those types of things. So it's unconditional love, the ability to love without conditions, the ability to bring love into your heart space, regardless of who you're around or the situation you're in.
Yeah.
I don't think that because we come here to this human form, that we're a spirit coming in and being human and having this human experience, I've come to realize that if that's the dynamic, which in my structure it is, that we come from the spirit, we choose to come and have this body experience. Why?
Good question.
In nirvana or whatever's there in this pure space of love, come here and to be limited. Maybe there's only things that we can work out by coming and being limited in some way, being triggered, doing that. So it's like, well, maybe this is part. There's a reason for it. Can we have fun with it? Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes you're slugging through a swamp and you're going through a really difficult part of your life.
Yeah.
And I have been in those places myself. I meet people. There's a reason why I call myself a human wilderness guide, because we all have wilderness where we're cutting. We wake up every day with the machete. We walk out into our life. We hack through the jungle. We hope to survive. Maybe we want to get some sleep. Insomnia can be a hard thing too for a lot of people. And make it through. Lots of lessons to learn.
Yes.
Different techniques.
But if you really look at being a human in a space of gratitude, how awesome is it that we have all of these experiences, even though sometimes they are that hard? You know, it's just, anyone could look back at the hardest thing they've ever been through and think about where they are now. And like, they're standing, they're alive, or they're smarter, or whatever opposite emotion or experience they're having now that they didn't think they would ever have again. Like, they never, in that moment, they never thought they'd be where they are. That is awesome. Like, what a great feeling, right?
Yeah, once you're past that.
Yeah, once you're past it, you look back. Like, I look back at the things I've been through, and I'm like, I am a badass. Like, I have overcome, I have gone through, I have fought, I have thrived, I have gone through all of these things, and I'm still alive. I'm still here, and wow, thank you for those experiences, because now I do what I do now because of that. It's good.
It is good. So the mindset of gratitude. It can change. Gratitude can change. You shift your mood in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to pull gratitude in for some way, even if it's gratitude for the smallest thing,
Right.
it actually really does shift your mood. Now,
Absolutely.
sometimes people want to be in a negative mood. They want to have an Eeyore day. They are entitled to the Eeyore day.
We all are. We all get those days. We're all allowed to have a day like that.
Sure. But, sometimes we can hold on to it, or we can just release and open up and let the sun shine in, or engage a little bit differently.
Right. Let go of the control.
What? Let go of the controls?
Don't you think?
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, what? Who's going to drive the train if I don't?
Isn't that awesome? We're going to find out. Hold on tight.
I kind of prefer to let that universe that's bigger than me get me where it knows I need to go.
Right. Exactly.
Is like, can you just...
Surrendering.
Surrender. Now, talk about bringing up fear with people. Is that surrender thing. I call it the trust fall with the universe. Or with God. Just, okay, most people understand what a trust fall is.
Yes.
Can you see yourself doing a trust fall with the universe, with God? Can you just fall backwards and be caught?
10 years ago, no. Today, absolutely.
Heck yeah, over and over and over again.
Yes.
It's like the most miraculous things happen in my spaces of surrender.
Backflip it.
That's right.
You're safe. The universe has your back.
That's right. It's hard to imagine sometimes in those dark spaces. Letting go, people cling and hold. If you think about your hands just clenching so tight, and body structure, the way that we hold our body is can be an indication of kind of what we're doing energetically. So if we can become aware of the body, that helps move and shift things. So untensing your body, I find a lot. I bring my shoulders up around my ears. My massage therapist will say, "That's your turtle shell. You've been like protecting yourself again, haven't you?"
Yeah.
Well, it's part of it. Part of the work that in the work that I do, or just being in this human form in general. That kind of thing.
Yeah, we really do. My neck and shoulders, I always am like, I need to let go of the weight of the world.
Atlas shrugged.
There's nothing I can do for every single person. Although I want to. Not today.
Not today. Those of us that are in service work, it's part of that.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. You feel it. You're wearing it. That's the awesome thing of being in the community that we're in. We feel all of these things, but we also have really awesome people in our community doing the same thing, and we get to help each other. We get to self-care with each other. We get to work on each other. We get to help each other in all the ways, and that's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I find even that's an interesting mindset when you relax and you don't have so there's so many different ways to understand the mindset, but we can have a competitive mindset where we may have colleagues or tribe members or people within the same field as we have, and we can be in competition with people, or we can be in a collaboration. And that doesn't even mean that we have to work collaboratively with someone. It just means that this world, and there's enough abundance out there for everyone to have a piece of it. And so it doesn't have to be this competitive thing where you have to corner some market or do something like that, or you have to compete with people.
Yeah.
And it can be a collaboration. Everybody can shine their light just as bright as they want to shine their light. And it doesn't have to be even a statement on you. I love that agreement. Don't take anything personally.
Yes. It's one of the best things that you could do for yourself.
Yes.
Is to not even carry around someone else's opinion or thought about you.
I know.
It's freeing.
I love letting that stuff go.
Mm-hmm. It really is freeing. Oh, that unconditional love makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
So what do you think are people's challenges with unconditional love?
We're conditioned to have conditions. I mean, in the big scheme of things, wouldn't you feel like, what would we have to work on? Honestly, if we were all unconditional human beings, what would there be? What
Yes.
experiences would be negative, or what would we have to work on? What mirrors would pop up for us? It's part of the human experience.
Yeah, it definitely is. So that reminds me, there's nowhere to get. So even with all this dialogue about mindset shifting and things like that, it's with the understanding there's really no where to get to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the journey is the destination. So this journey of living, and I also see it kind of like, well, I go along and I tackle a bunch of things, and then and then I level up,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get new challenges. So that doesn't mean that I haven't figured it out. That just means I get a whole set of new challenges.
Yes. It never ends. It's a continual process. We just get new experiences. Because
Yes.
life is just big old school.
It is a big old school. Get on that bus, interact with other kids, doing the same thing.
Get along at the playground. Come on, kids.
Don't fight with your neighbors. No spitballs. Stop it. Stop it. Don't be the bully.
This is a total shift in conversation, but because you are known here on KGRA as the numbers lady, of course I'm having DMs. Is she going to talk about numerology? And that's a whole entire show.
Sure.
We really could get into the whole entire show. But for the sake of the listeners just wondering about numerology, what can you share with them?
So I was actually going to bring it up when we were talking about expectations, because if you happen to have a life path number of 7, and 7 is your life path number. Now, a life path number you get by adding every single digit of your whole entire birthday, month, day, year, and then you'll get a 2-digit number, and then you add that two-digit number together, unless it's an 11 or a 22. Those are considered master numbers. And if anyone thinks that that's enviable, that's not necessarily, because it could be challenging in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you happen to get like a 34 or a 25, then you would be a life path 7. Now, life path 7s inherently have unconscious expectations. So that happens to be a pattern that I've seen in people that I've worked with that have a life path number of 7. The more aware they become of their expectations, then it eases off some of those. That's one of their challenges they're here to overcome, is to trust that things are happening the way that they need to be happening, and to let their light out into the world. So understanding your life path energy, this is the way that I see it. And I like to work with clients, helping them understand even just a little bit of understanding your life path says, I am here to overcome certain things. Numbers have energy.
Yes.
This is like not new. Pythagoras talked about everything is numbers. Mathematics is used to describe everything in the world. Mathematics can describe in in a detailed way that's beyond my brain. I can talk a bunch of different things, but so when you know your life path number, then you understand some basic things about the way that your energy is. Let's take, for instance, I'm a 4. So 4's like stability, like foundational energy. I have to understand that I work things in a process. I can't just skip steps. It's going to be a process, step by step by step, very methodical. I can't just like blast into, I have a friend that's not a 4 and she can just skip steps. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me. Yeah. So then I understand those parts. And I also understand foundational work is important for me. So that, and I'm an organizer. So because of those things, I have this natural way to organize in the way that I organize. It's kind of fun to know. And then you can have the awareness that everybody has a life path number, and they are born to sometimes to learn things that are not at all like you. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to influence your children, I think it'd be fun to parent a child according to numerology, their astrology. Mm-hmm. These people say you don't have an owner's manuals for kids, but if you're familiar at all with these systems, you do.
Right.
So if you're curious how to parent your child, check into those things. And then work with them and help foster their natural way of being. Mm-hmm. And I bet you find that a lot of that is eased. Some of this stuff is eased off.
Well, I've noticed since working with you and learning more about numerology, I'm a 4 also, and it's part of why we get along so well. We have the same thought process and how that all of the steps work. But my relationship with other people now, I'm always like, when's your birthday? I want to know your numerology. Because then I know how to navigate a relationship with them that is, positive and uplifting. Because then it's like they're like a love language, if you will, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you have the love language, you understand what that is, you communicate better with them. And I feel like that's the same when it comes to numerology. If you know their numerology, you can relate to them and understand. That has been the really cool thing about learning numerology with you, is knowing other people's life path numbers and already having a concept of who they are before I really even get to know them. I know it's weird though. Can I have your birthday? And I don't even know you, but
I'm asking it all the time.
Friends. So I need to know these things.
I got over the weirdness. I'm like, oh, okay. I just want to know your birthday. It helps me understand your energy, the way that works. Mm-hmm. If there's anything to that, which there seems to be.
Right.
So the other thing that's interesting is that when you're in relationship with someone, the 2 life path numbers added together again are the numerology of the relationship. So relationships will have a numerological energy as well. Mm. And so that is fascinating to look at as well, to say, so the 2 components put together, 2 people put together, going through life in various ways, could be a coworker, could be a parent-child or relationship, could be a couple's relationship. If you know that numerological energy, then it can clarify or it can uncover some of the things that may be coming up for you. Mm-hmm. Some of the sticky points, because that shows us the parts and the issues we're here to overcome in our life. And so we might go, well, there are supposed to be issues, because like you were saying, it's like, it wouldn't be any fun if we didn't have this stuff to learn.
I don't think so.
We have to have challenges. We need the contrast. This world is built that way on duality, so that we can see. Without that contrast, we can't see anything. There would be no vision. It would be all one color.
Be very boring.
That would be boring, huh? Where would the flowers be?
Mm-hmm. All the things.
All the things. So that's part of what how I've used numerology, is those types of things, understanding people. Mm-hmm. And some of the books out there, understanding what does that mean, and how do I even leverage my life because of that knowledge.
Right. But you don't only use numerology, you also use like Myers-Briggs, and you use several other, what would you call them?
Just different systems like astrology.
Systems. There we go.
Different.
I'm like, what's that word? So you use several different ones, which is, I guess if you're doing what you're doing and you know it works really well for you to get a deeper understanding of your client. But for like an average person like me, like I could go and learn all of that, but it may just get really overwhelming when I'm trying to analyze myself and everyone else that comes into my life. I'm like, okay, I need to know your birthday, I need to know your favorite color, I need to know your favorite food. They'd be like, what is wrong with this woman?
It could, if what you're trying.
So what I'm trying to say is, what if someone were to just pick one, do they just go to one that they resonate with, or one that they find interesting in learning and really get a deeper understanding of themselves and those close people around them?
I would actually challenge everyone to at least utilize some system for their own self-discovery. Because, so let's take Myers-Briggs. And the basic components of Myers-Briggs, we start with whether or not you're introverted or extroverted.
Right.
That's really one of the reasons why you would even want to know that, is because that has everything to do with energy and what drains you and what fuels you. So as a basic everyday life, introverts get drained by large social interactions or a lot of social interactions, and extroverts get charged up by it. And so if you're introverted and you don't realize, and you think, well, extroverts are better, that's a better way to be, I want to be that dynamic, I want to be able to talk so easily with people, I want to stop being in my shell, that's not really positive way to have a mindset around that. So you can even structure your mindset to say, well, I am introverted, so okay, I go and I have social interactions, I get myself there. So that's sometimes the first challenge for introverts, is to get into the social situation. And then they feel tired after it. They say, this is normal. This is actually natural. So it's beneficial to know for yourself. And then once you realize that for yourself, you're often more compassionate, more understanding. So been talking about those voices in our heads that can be challenging, that they can challenge what we're doing in life or how we're being, and from some framework that we're supposed to be different, that we've heard from teachers or parents or ourselves. These systems help you frame the concept of yourself differently based on some other, some people that have researched it, or the stars. And in my using of it, they all tend to help. And they hold some truth. In all of my use of it, they hold some truth. So why not work with a framework that has some established credentials or credibility?
Right.
And help yourself to then see that everybody has a different way of being, which often will help us be less judgmental with everyone that we interact with.
Yeah.
Going, oh, they're just being their old self.
Yeah.
And that makes life more pleasant.
Yes.
All in all.
I wish this was mandatory knowledge that we learned in school.
I think that should be.
We would just all be
little
better
kids.
humans, really.
Yeah.
We really would. Well, we're running short on time. How can people get in touch with you if they were interested in acquiring your time or asking you any kind of questions in regards to the show tonight? Or if they're interested in your class schedule at Vibes.
Come to my classes. So I do have a Facebook page where I do post my classes. That is called New Normal. And so if they just search New Normal, then they could find that. They can also reach out to me on Facebook. I do use Facebook. Natalie Peace is my Facebook Facebook name. They could email me at peaceofmind, my last name, peaceofmind@q.com.
And peace is spelled P-E-A-C-E.
That is right. That's what we all want.
Peace.
Peace.
That kind of peace.
Those are the basic ways. My phone number is listed on the New Normal page, so they could find me that way. Evidently, people could Google me, and they can even find my contact information out there. And the lady said, I just Googled you and found this information. So, because we all have a record if we've had any kind of exposure on Google. So those are ways to get a hold of me.
Wonderful.
I know.
I just have enjoyed our time together as always, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of days.
Yes. I hope next time I'm on the show, I'm in the studio. I mean, this is fun.
You will be. You will be. We'll have you on again for another numerology show because I have a question in the chat room I didn't get to. And also people have inquired about that once again. So
then on that show, I can go deep into the numbers and I can talk about each number and its energy. And we'll spend 2 hours and be busting the 2 hour limit.
It'll be so good. Thank you again for your time. It was lovely.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for being here with us this evening. It was so much fun, right? I love learning more about Mindset Matters and all the things. Make sure you guys are checking out the show schedule, my show, as well as all of the many other amazing shows hosted here on KGRA. And you can do that by going to kgradb.com. Have a beautiful night, Wanderers. Good night.